Hello music lovers and welcome to another episode of the Woodshed. This week I'd like to talk to you on how you can improve your practice time. I've got some theories, right? One of the number one things I'm commonly asked is,
Andy, how much do you practice? How long do you practice? What do you practice?
here's the deal, I never really consider myself practicing. I know that that's something that a lot of players say, they just like to play the guitar. So I took an introspective look at what I'd say when I'm playing the guitar, when I'm not practicing. And it led me down an interesting path. Yeah, so come to find out, I'm actually practicing quite a few things when I'm playing, okay? And one of the things that I see as a problem, and it might be an issue with your playing, it might be why you're hitting a roadblock, is when you sit down to play, you do the creature of habit thing, and you just fall into just playing the licks, right? Playing the pet licks that you already know, blasting through the same shapes that you always play. And even when you do practice something, do you find it hard to implement it into your playing? That's a big one, right? We work to get a lick under our fingers and then we realize we can't really play it whenever we want to. So I've got some things here that's gonna help you out, or at least they help me out. I hope they help you out. So first things first in the episode, practice musically. Practice musicality. Your musicality is just like any other muscle in your mind or in your body where if you don't flex it, right, you don't use it, then it just kind of goes away. And that's where the creature of habit and the habitual licks come in, and you just start regurgitating the same things you always play. So what does it mean to practice musicality? To me, that means before you touch the guitar, you're going to give yourself some parameters and some criteria to apply when you play. Because when we just put our hands on the guitar, we immediately go for those pet licks and we start playing the things we've played over and over again. Let's prevent that, okay? Number one, you just set up some harmony that you're gonna stay within, a harmonic outline. And it can be anything, right? And in the Woodshed episodes, we've discussed, Lydian sounds, we've discussed suspensions, we've discussed just basic major scales, right? So let's take some basic harmony that everyone from every level should know, just like an A minor to an F chord. A minor to F chord. So I'm gonna say there's my harmony to deal with, to play within. And you can just use the C major scale to get some really cool sounds, right? So one of the things I did is I said A minor. All right, well, I just don't want to play my A minor pentatonic. So I looked at each string going up and down, finding all the notes on every string that I can play within A minor. And that's just as simple as playing the C major scale up and down the string, all right? So if you need help with that, we're gonna do some more beginner stuff later on, but I figured it'd be nice to jump back into some intermediate level stuff for today. So I set my A minor harmony out in front of me, even with some triads that you heard me play. Even with those chords, I was like, all right, well, I know what notes I can use and what notes I can't. That's just step one. You lay out the notes you're gonna play, and you don't start playing licks. You just look down. You're like, okay, this is my map, my city map that I'm gonna use. Step number two: set a rhythm for yourself. Set some kind of musical tempo, and don't just play a lick in free time. Right? When you're practicing musicality, you gotta set some kind of musical groove. It's gotta have a groove to it, right? It can be 6/8, it can be 4/4. Like if we were gonna practice some of that stuff in 6/8, it'd be like, and you have that going behind you. It can be 4/4. For me, it was like this. I was thinking about some of that Venus Isle era Eric Johnson when I was thinking about the intro. But in my mind, I could hear when the chord changes were happening rhythmically. Even if you're playing in free time, and I think this is something that really great players excel at, is even though they're playing in free time, they know when a chord change is happening in their mind and in their inner ear, you know what I'm saying? Like up top. And they know that they're gonna land this chord change when that rhythmic change happens. It doesn't have to be just 1, 2, 3, 4, play. You know what I'm saying? It's something that can flow and be a little more free sounding, but still have an internal click, like And then I go to another time signature. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I can play a lick after that in free time. Play a new chord, right? Number 3, this is the really important one to me, is set a tone that inspires you. Be careful with your gain knob, right? Like too much gain and it's just going to dictate your playing, right? Too little gain can also dictate your playing. When I practice with kind of a medium amount of gain. Something like what I played in the intro when I stepped on this Wampler prototype. It's got some crunch, but it's not what I consider super distorted. It's just got enough little juice, right? As Greg would say, enough little gristle on it to kind of let me play if I want to play aggressive. I can play light on the tone, I can play aggressive on the tone. Get a tone that's flexible, but it still inspires you to play, right? When you combine all 3 of these things, you're starting to set up some musicality. You're actually starting to write. You know what I mean? Like improvising and writing, they're not that far apart, right? And you want to have the 3 tools going at all times. Set you a harmonic outline, right? And it can be simple. A minor pentatonic, you know. Set some rhythm. It can, again, super simple. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can start making music with that. And the third thing, definitely get a tone that inspires you. A lot of times when it comes to me, music is 3 things. This is just my concept. Music is rhythm, harmony, and tone. And a lot of times tone gets overlooked because jazz players play with just the jazz tone, right? Or rock players play with just the rock tone, or country players just play the country tone. To me, it's like stepping into some different worlds tonally can inspire your practice and can lead you down a path of playing music, practicing musicality. These are the things that I learned subconsciously when I didn't practice and I was just playing the guitar. I just didn't realize that I was actually practicing, you know, and it really helped my playing. To this day, it helps my playing. And a lot of times when I'm working on any kind of technique, whether it be difficult or just foreign, just something new that's not really under my fingers, I immediately try to implement it into this 3-step kind of program and start to make something with it that at least resembles a song or a part of a song. Here's a great watermark. Maybe you're at home and your significant other comes in and they hear you practicing. They're like, oh, he's practicing again, or oh, she's practicing again. If they come home and say, ooh, what is that? I like that song. And you're actually practicing, that means you're practicing musicality and you actually are creating something that sounds like a song or a composition. Even if you're improvising, even if you're just starting to write, maybe you haven't written very much. You don't need elaborate software to write, okay? You don't need elaborate software. A lot of times guys will, you know, just put in the notes on the line and let it play it in a MIDI file and then they go and learn it. Like that's not very organic to me. I find that stuff works for other players, does not work for me. The 3 things that I talked about today, that helps me more than anything, right? This is kind of a heady episode. It's not really so put your fingers here, put your fingers here. That's really not what this is about. But I feel like this is one of the most important episodes. It's one of the deepest concepts behind my playing. And I hope this stuff translates to you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about this stuff. Let's review, let's recap, okay? What are the things we're gonna do? We're gonna practice musicality. We're not just gonna sit down and blast through habit, blast through licks. When I get students online and they reach out to me, the first thing they do is I'm like, all right, play something A minor. They have no sense of rhythm, yet they can play songs, right? When they play freely, they don't do any of the things that I'm talking about. And then after the episode, they're like, geez, man, yeah, that makes sense. And then they'll come back and we'll work together, you know, a month later and their playing is improved tenfold. I think this stuff will work for you. Here it is. Practice musically. How do you do that? You set your end goal by just a 3-step process, right? Whatever harmony that might be. It could be some very elaborate algebraic equation of a chord, or it could just be C major. Really doesn't matter. You just give yourself an outline of harmony and you don't start playing yet. The next thing you do is you set some rhythm, some tempo, some groove. Maybe that's your groove. Or maybe it's a It really doesn't matter as long as you have some kind of groove, some kind of tempo. What's the third thing that I said? Tone. For the love of God, don't just blast out the most distortion ever. And you don't have to be committed to a clean tone. I love playing in like that kind of chewy in between, not really clean, not really dirty. Things like, you know, a tweed amp that's cranked up real loud, or something like a clean amp. Today I'm using a Bella, and I'm using this Wampler tumnus, right, and a compressor, and that's it. And then all of my delay is coming from a timeline. That's it. 3 pedals. You don't even need 3 pedals. The point is finding a tone that doesn't live so far in one direction of a genre that it locks your inspiration to that one genre. That's really important, guys. You know, if you hear, you know, the Chug and Diesel thing, I immediately I'm going to start writing Chug stuff. If I hear clean deluxe with back pickup telly, I'm going to start playing, you know, chicken picking licks, right? So I'm trying to find a tone that just kind of has got a little bit everywhere to where it allows me to kind of drive the car on the direction of the music that I'm trying to practice. Good luck with this, guys. If you want more specific lick-based stuff, and this is something I see guys coming at me, they're like, hey man, show me this lick, show me this lick, can you break down this lick? You want specific stuff? Jump over to my Patreon. It's good times over there. We've got a lot of people having a lot of fun. They're getting their musical diets filled with all kind of tasty treats. So jump over there if you've got really specific content you want. And then you know, I just set up a little iPhone, lock it down, send it to you when I see the request come in. All right, guys, practice musicality, harmony, rhythm, and tone. See you next time.